Hi there, welcome to another video from Parker Adams Boat Sales. I'm Jonathan Parker and today we're going to be looking at this, not Andrew. Behind him we've got a Fairline Targa 34, a 2003 model, and I'm going to be showing you around the engine room and just tell you a little bit about the machinery and the engines it has installed.
And my name's Andrew Adams and I'm going to be running through the rest of the boat. So really just giving you a flavour for the accommodation, the cockpit configuration, the helm position, absolutely everything that I can think of to run through about this boat. I know these boats really well, and actually I own a Targa 34 myself, so it's really nice to come on board another one and give an opportunity to see one that's in really fantastic condition. So I'm up here now in this upper seating area, and it's incredible really that on a 34-foot boat they were able to get these two really distinct seating areas. So you genuinely can go on a trip on the boat with a couple of different groups of friends and actually really spend a great amount of time sitting down socialising. This particular area here, you'll get 1, 2, 3, 4 people sitting around here, plus the helmsman's seat here. I'll come on to the helmsman's seat in a minute, but you can once again see the quality of this interior. This has been upgraded from new. Normally the Fairlines have the white and blue vinyl upholstery. This has been upgraded to this dark tan colour, and it's really striking. I've not seen another Targa 34 with this colour combination, and it looks really good. This is the helm position on the Targa 34, and I think it's pretty much perfect for a helm position. Everything that you want is really close at hand. This boat is fitted with auto trim tabs as well, so where the normal trim tabs are fitted, you've got this auto button. Now this allows the boat to be trimmed totally automatically or still give you the flexibility of controlling the tabs individually. As you can see here straight away, the wheel has been upgraded for this really nice high quality steering wheel, which is similar to the wheels that are fitted to all of the new Fairlines. On the Targa 34, the age of this boat, 2003, it's really important that I think the owners are starting to upgrade and keeping the electronics up to date. And that's exactly what this owner has done. So this is fitted with one of the very latest Raymarine Axiom 9 plotters. Now, this is the largest plotter that you can fit into this space here, and it is absolutely a perfect fit. This is then interfaced with the Autopilot and the Tri-Data. Just up at the top there, you can see space for an iPad stand. Now the reason that's really good on these plotters is because what you can actually do is you can connect an iPad to the plotter using Wi-Fi and have a separate display. So you could have a situation where just on here you've got your route data, for example, but up on the iPad you've got displayed in real time your position on the chart. It's a really nice feature of these Raymarine Axiom chart plotters. Everything else is just exactly where you'd want it to be. A helm position indicator right in the middle, so when you're mooring up you just glance down and make sure that your stern drive's in the right place. You've got your trim positions, you've got your rev counters, you've got your water tank and your diesel tank. Bow thruster, this boat is fitted with a bow thruster and it's a really powerful one, which makes moving this boat around in close quarters incredibly easy. Up at the top you've got more dials. There you've got the engine pressures, you've got the temperatures, and you've got the battery volts. So on the Targa 34, I think it's got one of the best ergonomically designed seating driving positions of any boat of this size, and then a bank of Carling switches here which control all of the different features and the lights, and of course remembering that this boat has got upgraded lights and it's got blue LED lighting which go throughout the entire cockpit area. It's a really nice feature and looks absolutely stunning at night. This is the rear seating area on the Targa 34 and it is huge. Again, it is amazing to think that so much has been packed into this 34-foot boat, and it's really easy to see why these are so popular. The seating area all here around this table, just behind the seating here, sorry, underneath the seating here, I'll just move this here and show you. You just pull this cushion out of the way, and then just in that locker space there you've got a huge amount of space where this particular owner keeps all his tools, cleaning materials, and the gas locker is just in there, really easily accessible. Just pop that back down again. Close that back off. Underneath this seat here, you've got another locker space. It's actually just clipped in. I'll just undo the clips on there. And inside here is again more locker space This is used for ropes. It's a self-draining locker, so very, very easy to put the ropes into there. So absolutely everything that you need here, lots and lots of space, and you can see the really nice teak cockpit floor here. Now this is original teak on this boat, and it's been treated, so it's in pretty good condition. It's something that you notice as soon as you come on the boat, that it has got that real teak smell. Something else you might notice just over here is a Fusion head unit. Now what that is that's a secondary head unit for the main driver of the Fusion stereo, which is downstairs. It's really nice to be able to change the music, change the controls and the volume up here in the sociable cockpit area. It's a great feature and something where this boat has been extensively upgraded over the years. And I'll come on to this side in a second, but you'll notice there's also a Fusion subwoofer here, as well as additional Fusion speakers. So the sound system on this boat is absolutely fantastic, and something that cost a previous owner quite a lot of money to upgrade, but is only there as a benefit for the next owner. Again, storage is so important on a boat, and inside this locker space here, just underneath, once again, you've got a really large size cupboard. In here, again, more cleaning materials, gives you an idea of how fastidious this owner is in keeping this boat in tip-top condition. And there's bellows there to pump up the tender, and just underneath there as well is access to your fuel shut-off cocks. So it's all very easily accessible, and you just pop that back on there. I talk about upgrades. This boat is also fitted with a 240 volt plug socket just here, so in the evening if you're plugged into 240 volts, then you could put perhaps a lamp up on the top here. You will also notice here just a little indentation there for your drinks to go in, and a vent here that is the vent for the cockpit fridge, and I'll show you that in a second. Another feature on these boats is this top-loading cockpit fridge. It's a really, really nice feature. This is a cool box, it's cooled, and it means that all your beers, your drinks can be kept in there, easily accessible for your friends. It's a nice feature and very easy to get to.
Here we are in the engine bay of the Targa 34, and as you can see, it's got the CAD 44 engines in, and the Targa 34 had a few different engine options. In the early days it had the CAD 42 engine options, which were 230 horsepower, and in the later models they then changed to the CAD 44s, and they did also have the option of the CAD 300s. This has got the CAD 44 options, which is 260 horsepower, so a significant increase in power over the CAD 42s. What the CAD 44 gives you over the earlier 42 is actually electronic controls and a management system which controls the fueling system a lot more efficiently than the earlier CAD 42s. So what that gives you is a more efficient and better use of the fueling with the 44s over the 42s. Now these engines, as I'm looking at them now, are very clean, and you've got to remember this is a 2003 boat, and normally at this sort of age there will be sort of corrosion set in certain places, but on these engines I just cannot find any. Common problems that these engines may incur are the exhaust elbows, and in fact these exhaust elbows have been changed a year ago, and as well as the turbos have been checked and refurbished when required. In fact, one was refurbished and the other has checked perfectly well. Other things that you tend to have problems with are the seawater pumps, but again on here the seawater pumps are both brand new, and also the belts have been changed. The service has been up together. It's got a really fastidiously service history, a really good service history, and in fact this boat is actually going to get serviced again in the next week. It's going to be lifted out, it's going to have the tappets done, which should be done every 300 hours, and in fact these were done about 120 hours ago, but again the owner's fastidious and he wants them done again, so they're going to be done again next week. As well as the drives are going to be removed and the bellows replaced. Now the bellows on these drives have to be done every 2 years, so they're going to be replaced, and all the anodes are going to be changed, as well as it's going to be anti-fouled as well. And the other thing, obviously, just to keep the service up to date, is the oil changes are going to be done. Now really, when it comes to the new owner taking on this boat, he really won't have to spend much money at all in this area. It'll be serviced, Anything that has been at fault over the years has been replaced. Even the power trim pumps motors have been replaced in recent years. And really, looking around this engine, it's really well up together. Other things you'll notice apart from the engine itself is there's actually an outboard down here, and there's an outboard bracket here to stow an outboard. A lot of these 34s do come with a storage box down here. Obviously handy, but it does take up a lot of engine room. And when you do want to work on the engines, quite often it's very awkward to work around it, and in some cases you need to remove it to get it places. But this one doesn't have it, but instead you can store an outboard down here quite nicely. I think Andrew might have mentioned already, but options with this up at the helm is it has an autopilot, which is a really good addition. Also, it has trim tabs, but they're automatically set trim tabs. And if you've owned this sort of type of boat before, then trim tabs you can often find yourself constantly fiddling with. But on this boat they're automatic, so you set it and it automatically keeps the boat straight and level. These engines have actually done around 530 hours, so again there is very low hours for the age of the boat. And you should really appreciate when you come and view this boat the condition of the engine.
Social entertaining space is what the Targa 34 really excels in, and it's easy to see why this boat has become one of the most popular Fairline models, and they hold their value incredibly well in the second-hand market. I think one of the reasons for this is there really is nothing else quite like it in the market. My business partner and I, Jonathan, went to the Düsseldorf Boat Show this year, and it was really interesting to see that in order to get the same level of accommodation that you get on boats like this, you really need to go to about 40 feet in today's standards. Now, a 40-foot powerboat, we know the costs of those are from new, whereas these Targa 34s, examples like this, when they're really well maintained, when they're looked after, when they've been upgraded, hold their value very, very well and represent not only great value for money, but also a boat where you really can't beat the space available to you. We'll go down below now, and what you'll see down below in a 34-foot boat is actually 3 distinct cabins. So you've got your fore cabin, you've got your saloon, and then you've got a twin-bedded cabin at the back. Each of those with really good proportions and really good sized beds, plenty big enough for even a 6-foot person to sleep in. So let's go on down below and I'll walk you through the rest of this Targa 34. So I'm here in the back cabin now, and I'm just sat here on the sofa that's in the back cabin. Now you can see that there's actually quite a lot of headroom here, and it's a good size cabin. You've got full height standing once you come into the cabin, and then you just bend down to sit down on here. Now you can configure the beds here in a couple of different ways. As standard, they're set up as 2 singles, but what the owner here has done is actually pushed the 2 mattresses together, put a board across the middle, and then just used a roll-up foam which goes down the side, which then creates a really large double bed at the back. And this bed is quite a bit bigger than the bed in the fore cabin, so it's a nice idea if you wanted to utilise this as more of a double cabin, just to do exactly what this owner's done. Now just on the top here, some Targa 34s are fitted with a sink in here, but this one doesn't have the sink. But what that means is you do get additional storage space. So when we came on board the boat, just in here was the ICOM commander unit for the VHF, which sits up into the cockpit. The owner had brought that down here for safety, and then a few other bits and bobs that he wanted to get easy access to. There's a cupboard which is just in here, and you can see some cool boxes and wine in there. Very sensible use of that cupboard. Just at the back of the cabin here, I'll come on to that in a second, but you can see there's a full-size cupboard. Now that cupboard goes right the way to the back. You can fit full-size dresses, jackets in there, and it also has a cubby hole that goes right the way around to the back and the side of the boat. So if you needed to put into there perhaps any wet weather gear, things that are occasional use, then that's a really good place to put it in there. What I'll do is I'll bring the camera down now and just show you around the cabin as this is set up with a double, and also not forgetting that this boat has got fitted televisions in each of the cabins. So these are hardwired televisions into both this guest cabin and the owner's cabin up at the front. So I'm right down into the stern cabin now, and you can see this bed really nice around here. Now typical Fairline quality, the high gloss cherry finish is all the way around the top of the bed there, and then you've got these really nice plush wall liners that run all the way along, and they're in a dark blue fabric which really sets off against the cherry wood and the light colour on the wall linings. So it's a really good size in here. You've got 2 lights at the back, reading lights as well, and you can operate all of the lights from the back. So if you wanted to turn off this main light at night, you can do that all from the back of the cabin. So really nice size cabin here, lots and lots of space, and of course you've got a window here to get some nice fresh air circulating through, and the 2 portholes either side. It's a good size cabin, certainly for a 34-foot boat. It's surprisingly large in here. So here we are in the main saloon area in the Targa 34, and it's a really nice place to be. The lovely thing about this boat is that it's really, really light and airy. And one of the big things that makes the difference here is that all of this upholstery has been replaced. And this has got the really nice ivory cream coloured leather, which really sets off the high quality feel to this version of the Targa 34. You can also see here really nicely the polished cherry wood. Now, on some boats that I've seen, the cherry wood can actually get quite damaged and pitted, but you can see that the owners of this boat have kept the boat in really beautiful order. So I'm struggling to find a single mark on the cherry wood in here. It really does look exceptional and gives a really good high quality feel to this Targa 34. Now, you've got curtains behind here, you've got storage in all of these where you've got space to keep your plates, cutlery, glasses, anything that you need to store is all available in here. And then if I look just behind here, you've got a couple of bottle racks here, and then again you've got courtesy lights, so if in the evening you're sat down here reading, then you've got a courtesy light just on hand. Everything's been thought through really nicely, and just above my head, just out of sight, you can see again Fusion speakers. This boat, as I've said before, has got an absolutely sparkling sound system, and that's really nice to see. It's been upgraded extensively throughout. So I'm here in the heads, and it's a really nice size. This actually doubles up as a wet room, and you've got a shower that just pulls across here to protect the wood joinery, but apart from that, everything in here can get wet with the shower, and it's got a draining cockpit, draining shower floor here, which goes down into a sump pump and then pumps out from the bilge. So everything that you need is here. The separate shower controls, the tap here, and then also this little cupboard here hides a little secret, that the cupboard rotates around and then you can keep all of your toiletries in the back of it. So again, typical Fairline, everything's really nicely thought through and thought out. Now the toilet, this toilet's been upgraded, and it's actually an electric toilet. So most boats of this age have got a manual toilet, but this one's been upgraded, fitted with an electric one, and all of the pipes that supply the toilet have also been replaced. Again, on boats of this sort of age, it's about the time that those pipes start to get corroded by salt water, and they can leave quite a nasty egg smell in a boat. When as soon as they're replaced, that disappears and leaves everything feeling much, much fresher, smelling much, much fresher, and this has all been replaced on this boat. So I'm now in the master cabin, and on this particular boat you can see So I'm now in the master cabin, and what you have here is a fixed double bed. Now, it's not a central bed, however, you can get access to it right round from the side and then also onto this side. So actually you don't need to disturb the other person if you want to get out of bed, because you can just get out the bottom. All the upholstery round the side of the bed is in really nice condition. The curtains are nice, and again, just like the rear cabin, you can see it's fitted with a fixed television point in here. So this boat, extensively upgraded, certainly from the electronics point of view, is really, really tip-top, with 2 wired-in televisions into each of the cabins, which is really, really unusual and a nice feature to see. There's lots and lots of light in this cabin. You can see the light streaming in from the porthole on the either side, and then just up at the top you've got a hatch here which doubles up as an emergency exit hatch, but also lots of light. You have a roller blind that you can pull across on there if you want to remove the light so it doesn't wake you up in the morning. And then you've got a large locker space just behind me, and on this side you've got a large vanity mirror and then 2 individual spaces to put bits and bobs and jewellery, and again I'll zoom in on that in a second. So really nice size owner's cabin. And back to that point that I made earlier, on the market today there simply is not a 35-foot boat which has 3 separate cabins: the saloon, the main cabin and the stern cabin. It really is remarkable how Fairline managed to fit all of this in, and it just proves why these boats are so popular even today. So this is the galley area of this Targa 34. It's a small galley, but you've got absolutely everything that you need here easily at hand. You've got a nice size sink together with taps, draining board. You've got a little locker space at the back here, Quite a good size space in there, and you can actually fit some plates in there. Some of the custom Fairline plates fit directly into there. You've got that upgraded Fusion head unit, which is there, and that also has the opportunity to have an iPod put into it. Now, a lot of people tend to have iPods that are kicking around in a drawer at home anymore and perhaps not used so much. It's a great opportunity to get hold of one of those iPods, pop it into the Fusion head unit, and then use that as a permanent onboard jukebox with all of your music. This boat's equipped with Eberspatchel warm air heating. The controls are just there together with a thermostat, and this is also the programmable version, so you're able to set it up. So if you were away and you wanted it to come on, let's say every morning for an hour or two, then you could set it up on there. Boats of this age, typically the old Simrad radios can start to be problematic, and this boat has already dealt with that and upgraded the radio to one of the latest ICOM radios. Now, the main radio is down here, but what you have up at the top is you've got one of the ICOM commander stations, which gives you full control over the radio up by the helm position. So you've got everything that you need. You've got a cutlery drawer here, you've got a big storage locker here, and obviously your fridge is just here. Now, just on this side here, you've got a microwave oven. Now, this is an optional extra. Some boats come with gas ovens, but this has got the microwave option. And just on the top here, you have a 2-burner hob. What's quite nice, and not many people know this, that the good place to store this when it's not in use is it slides just in there above the fridge. So if a lot of people don't know where to put that on the Targa 34, it just slides into place there. So everything that you need is here, and then these high quality gloss cherry cupboards up at the top. Inside here you have all the instrumentation, so access there to all of the boards, all of the controls on the boat to individually isolate electronics. And then this particular locker here is just another big storage area where you can keep crockery, perhaps teas, coffees, anything like that. So everything that you need is here and easily to hand. A good use of space here on the Fairline Targa 34 is where the bin is. Quite a lot of bins take up a lot of storage space in the galley area. On the Targa 34, you just lift that up and you can see the bin is stored just under there. Really, really close to the galley and nice and easy to get into. So another way that Fairline have thought this boat really nicely through. I didn't mention it earlier, but a lot of the Targa 34s have got a dark blue work surface up here, and this boat has got the really light work surface, and it does actually make quite a big difference when you're down below. It makes everything very, very light, and it blends really nicely with the pale colourings of the walls. The boat's also fitted with a smoke detector, which is fitted to the main cabin just above the galley area. Sensible place to be. So really everything has been thought through on this boat. She's a lovely, lovely example. So here we are on the bathing platform of this Targa 34, and as you can see there's 3 different lockers to see what's inside here. Now this first locker here is actually surprisingly deep, and if I open this up here you can see there's quite a lot of storage in there. Now I've actually put 3 fenders in there, a couple of ropes. It's a really nice self-draining locker. This particular owner, again, keeping more cleaning equipment in here. Pop that down. This locker here hides a bathing ladder. Now it's a really deep bathing ladder, and in fact when the boat's out of the water this really comes into its own because it goes 5 steps down, so it's really quite a low one, and certainly when you're in the water swimming, very easy to come back on board. Now this particular locker actually holds a bit of a secret. Now it looks fairly small, but actually what's concealed inside here is a life raft, and that's a really, really nice feature. Now it's very unusual to find a life raft that's actually contained in the stern of a boat of this size, so it's tucked in there in really nice out the way condition. Some people I know have also put slightly larger life rafts in there and then put some form of grid system on the back here, but it's tucked away there. Your power socket is on the end here, and you've also got a 12-volt socket here, so if you did want to blow up, let's say, a stand-up paddleboard or something, and you've got a 12-volt pump, then you can plug it straight into there alongside with your shore overload trip switch there as well. So there's plenty of space. It's a nice extended platform on this Targa 34. So I hope you've enjoyed this walk around this Fairline Targa 34. As I mentioned earlier, I have one of these boats, and I think that they are incredibly hard to beat. As a 34-foot boat, there are very few boats that have the same level of accommodation, finish, attention to detail, and overall family friendliness that this boat has. Now, this particular boat, as I've said, has been extensively upgraded over the years and represents a fantastic value for money because she really is probably one of the most complete examples of a turnkey boat that I've seen. everything. The engines are serviced, they're ready to go. The hull is about to be polished next week. She's a really, really great example. Now, just to go through a few more details about the Targa 34, in case you haven't known much about the boats before. So they've got just under a 600 litre fuel tank, which gives a huge range. So if you're thinking in terms of Solent cruising, then that's plenty big enough to go on a nice extensive cruise down to the West Country, down to Devon, Cornwall, with plenty of range in there. Freshwater tanks, about 300 litres, so again, really big freshwater tanks. These are really set up as the perfect family cruising boat. Fuel economy is also fantastic. Now, my particular boat's got the CAD 300s, which are slightly more powerful and will drink just a little bit more fuel than these. And to give you an idea of the cruising range that I get out of mine, only a few weeks ago I went from the Hamble River to Yarmouth and back again, and I wanted to see what the fuel consumption would be like. So I filled up the tanks to the top before I left and filled them up to the top when I got back, and it did just 44 litres. So that's a trip from the Hamble all the way to Yarmouth and back for around about £40 worth of diesel. So it really isn't the case that to own one of these boats is going to cost you a fortune to run. They are very, very economical engines, and these being the 44s will be even more economical. The performance on this boat will still absolutely be sparkling, and in the next couple of weeks we'll be adding a drone video to this, where we'll go out of the marina here at Chichester, head up the harbour and then head into Hayling Bay and really open up the boat, and we'll show you from the drone what the performance of this boat is all about. They feel incredibly sporty, but at the same time very, very capable. If you get caught in some nasty weather, then the Fairline Targa 34 will look after you. So I hope you enjoyed the video. This is a fantastic example here at Chichester Marina. It'd be a pleasure to show you over the boat. I don't believe this boat will hang around for very long, so please do give me a call and I'd love to show you over. Look forward to speaking to you very soon. Many thanks.